Hello everyone, and welcome to another DaVinci Resolve tutorial. So what we're going to take a look at today is we're going to dive again into the switch node. And I've had a few days to play with the switch node, and I got to say, it's pretty cool. I didn't really explain it well in my first overview because it was all new and exciting, and yeah, I just kind of jumped in without doing as much research as I should have. But what I've done here is I've created a scene in 3D that will make very good use of the switch node and hopefully give you some ideas. Now, I went and grabbed these paper cutout. They're used for like visual novels or something. I got them off of itch.io. There's going to be a credit right here on screen now and also in the description below. And the reason I chose these is each character has the same layout with different faces. So this allowed me to create a rig to control what character is being seen at what time, what expression they'll have, how they're lit, and so on. So here, let me go through this little thing real quick here. So over here, I've got 4 different lights that are going into a switch. The thing with the switch node basically, it's a chameleon. It becomes whatever is plugged into it, but only one thing at a time. So right now, let's say I grab, watch this. I'm going to show you real quick here. I'm going to go into the paper dolls. I've got some isolated here. I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to grab that one, and I'm going to grab this one. Right, so now, if I put a switch node here, and I stuff them in, you have to tell it how many nodes, how many inputs there are. I'm going to get rid of that. There you go. Right now it comes only with 2 by default. I'm going to add a third one and plug that in. Now, you'll see that this line is highlighted. It's in red. So it's currently, the switch node is now equivalent to being media 1. It's not merging media 1, it is media 1. Media 2, well, if I click this now and I go to input 2, it is now media 2. It's not media 2 on top of media 1, switch 1 becomes media 2. And then we've got media 3. And this gives us a lot of interesting possibilities. I'm going to get rid of media 2 here, and I'm just going to grab another version of this character just to show you. And I'm going to go back to my switch. Mouth open, mouth closed. So now I can quickly, without having to do tons of merge nodes, swap between one expression and the other instantly. So I could go into my timeline. I could come here. I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to say keyframe. She starts with the mouth open, and then at keyframe 40, she closes her mouth. And as we play it, there you go. There's no messing around with blending properties. There's no, okay, one frame before I'm going to set it to 1, and then next frame when it's supposed to no longer blend, I'm going to send it to 0, and then I'm going to go to the other merge and set, it to 1 and then to 0 just the frame before and then to 1, and timing all of this. You can literally just switch between them. Ergo, the switch node. And I'm going to show you with this scene here. So I'm going to explain what we've got here. Let's go over here. There you go. So let's take a look at what we've got. We've got basically 4 lights. We have one background, which is that background in the back here. That one's not getting switched. And then we've got 3 characters with 2 expressions each. And finally, we have 4 cameras. All of those are going into a merge 3D. And then going into a render and then merging onto a blank background and being sent off to the timeline. So that's pretty simple. But we got this thing up here that's not connected to anything. Well, what's that for? What? This is a custom control. A custom control is just a blank control with a ton of knobs and dials. And if you come up here, you can edit controls and you can modify them. You can create sliders, screw controls, which is what this is, range controls, which is what this is, buttons, combo boxes, labels. And then you can use that to drive other things with expressions. And that's literally what I'm doing here. So what I've done is I've created a slider because the switch node basically is an array. So it starts at 0, and then every input is one more. So 0, 1, 2, 3 for these, right? So yeah. So what I've done is I've created a slider for each one of these. And then I've told the switches, hey, you're going to input number in 5, which is, that's lights, which is this one. And now, as I switch them, spotlight on her face, spotlight on her face, spotlight on his face, everybody lit. And now I can switch between those instantly because this isn't a blend. It suddenly becomes spotlight 1, spotlight 2, spotlight 3, point light. It becomes that light. So now I can switch my lighting from here. I can control all of this through this one custom control. And like I said, it's very easy. Let's do this. So we're going to start off with these characters. They're talking to each other. Like maybe I'd have like, a text bubble, and then maybe we'll add that. Maybe we'll add that afterwards. Adding text bubbles or like changing the text at the bottom. So let's just take a quick look and see how this can be used, and then maybe we'll add text. Yeah, there you go. So at 0, I'm going to go and set it like this. So at 0, everybody's at this expression. I'm using camera 0, which is camera 1 in here, because again, it's a 0-based array. So we're at this position, and then as we move in forwards a bit, let's say 24-ish frames in, whatever this is, 30, I don't care. Here you go, 24 seconds, 24 frames, so which would be about 1 second. Character, that is character 1, I think. Character 1's expression will change to opened eyes. And same thing with character 3. Oh no, that's character 3. There you go. Character 2. Okay, give me 1 second. I think I didn't set this up correctly. Transform. That's the problem. So what I did for these to make sure that the problem that we have is that while the switch becomes whatever it is, I found that if I put it before the image plane 3D, when you switch it, it causes issues with lighting. So we have to run the image into the image plane and then into the switch. So one of the things that I did to make sure that each image is at the same position is I told this, you are equal to something. I'll deal with that in a second. Equal. And then I just told it to be equal to the first one, and then I just positioned the first one like this. I am recording, right? Yes, I am recording. Perfect. Yeah, so what I did is I just grabbed this, connect it, and connect it. Unfortunately, I forgot to do it to that character. So there you go. We're going to disconnect that. Thank you. So now that should work. If I go back here, character 2, now he has his eyes open, or she does. Not sure if that's a guy or a girl. Doesn't matter. So at that point, they both open their eyes. And then a couple of frames later, let's say this character closes her mouth. Now, we've got like text appearing at the bottom, blah, blah, blah. We then have around here, we want to focus on this character. Well, let's go to this camera. But I want to really focus on this character. I want these guys to not be really all that visible. Well, I've set up some lighting for that. And there you go. Now she's having some inner monologue. So we've got her focused and the others are kind of faded out in the background. And as we go here, the lighting goes back to everyone and she's talking now to everybody. And as we move over here, for example, we're going to switch to a camera and we're going to go to this guy. Now, he's still being lit by her light. So we're going to switch to the overall light. So now we're going to go and switch his or hers spotlight. And then a couple of frames in, we're going to go back to this character and we're going to switch to her spotlight. And then a couple of frames in, because she's thinking about what they're saying. Then a couple of frames in, we're going to go back to the everyone light as she starts talking. And then we're going to go back over here and we're going to go back to the overall camera. And that's it. So now, as we play this, oops, I didn't bring that back. There you go. As we play this, everything, all those cameras, it's no more, I don't need, because I can switch the cameras, I can now, did I forget to set something here? Let's go back. So I discovered the problem. Excellent. The problem that I'm having is while the switches are straight, these dials are trying to interpolate. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of them and we're going to go step in. There you go. That fixes it. Or it should have. So let's take a look at that again. I'm going to get rid of my spline and I'm going to get rid of the media pool. Perfect. So let's go back to the beginning. They all open their eyes. She's talking. She's thinking. We've switched to him. He's thinking. She's thinking. She's talking. He's talking. And we're back to everyone. Yeah, so the problem that we were having is that while these are basically, like if we go and take a look at the spline, they're properly, like they're supposed to be hard steps. Like this. And they are. But the numbers over here were making them very, like they were making them, let's say I was going from 0 to 3, while it would go to step 1, step 2, step 3, because it was trying to interpolate between the numbers when I wanted it to step into the number. So all I had to do was select my keyframes and tell them to step in, and that's it. Super easy. Yeah, so that was the problem. But now, like I said, I can quickly animate this without having to go into each and every node and setting the the blending modes in and out, in and out, in and out. I just go and select it and say, no, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And I can control all of this from this control panel. And you could go even crazier, because right now I'm only controlling one light per thing, but I could do something like this. I could have 3 lights going into a 3D merge. Merge 3D. And having like a second one of these. When you do that with lights, you have to make sure that you select pass through lights, or otherwise the lighting won't make it to the next node. And then having those go into a switch, and then I'd be switching that entire group of lights. So I'm hoping that you guys see how useful this could be. Now let's say we want to add on top down here at the bottom, we want to add a box with text. Let's take a look at another power of switch node. There we go. Let's do this. I'm going to not use the switch node. What I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to use a switch node. I am. So I'm going to create a text box here. Now, watch this. We're going to run these into a switch. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need 7 inputs. 7? I said 7. There we go. We have 7 inputs. So 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got all of that. We are now going to have a background, and it's going to go into here, and the switch is going to go on top of the background, like that. And this background is black. Perfect. We're going to mask it out with a rectangle. And the width of the rectangle is going to be 1.25. So it's a little bit bigger. Okay, that's a bit too big. 1.2 maybe. 1.1. The reason I'm making it bigger is because I'm going to add a feather to it. And we're going to make it just a little bit thinner. So height. We're going to add a transform after all of this and bring that down. And we're also going to make this just a little bit like that. And the rectangle is going to have like a nice soft edge. We're going to make the height just a little bit higher. And transform, bring that down just a little bit. And maybe move text up just a little bit. There you go. Let's bring the alpha in a bit more. Okay. And now I've got a bunch of text. And I can switch between these to determine what's going to be shown. So what I can do is I can come here to my control. And I'm going to right-click. I'm going to edit my controls. I'm going to add a new control, and the name is going to be caption. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to call it caption select, and it's going to be a number, and it's going to be a let's just use a slider. I like sliders. And it's going to be a full number, and it's going to be from 0 to 6 because there's 7 inputs, but it's a 0-point array. And now I'm going to pin this, and I'm going to go to my switch. I'm going to rename it to SW text, switch my text, and I accidentally put it under user again. So I'm going to go here, edit controls, and we're going to find that, which should be close to the bottom. Okay, we got caption, and I'm going to put it in my controls instead of, yeah, perfect, caption select. So I'm going to go back over to my select here, and I'm going to tell it with an expression, you're going to be equal to whatever number I've selected in here. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that great? And now, if I go back to my control room, I can go in, go right to the beginning, set a keyframe, and the keyframe actually is going to be to nothing. I'm going to wait a few seconds. She's going to open her eyes, and now she's going to say, I'm awesome. And as we move in, we're going to go and select, I'm super insecure. And then as we move forward, oh no, I did it at the wrong spot. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to, wait a minute, no. So we're good there. So we're going to take that one out. And she's going to still say, yeah. So now it's being silly, but that's because of the keyframes are interpolating between each of the numbers. So I'll fix that in a minute. We're just going to set our keyframes. So as she gets here, this is where she's going to talk. She's going to say, I'm awesome. When we get here, when she's thinking to herself, no, I'm super insecure. And as we get to this guy, he's thinking, okay, that's a bit big. We'll fix that in a minute. Wow, she's so confident. Oh, wow, she's so full of herself. And then she's a two-faced, so she's saying, I wish I was as good as you. And when we get here, this person is sincere and says, same here. And then when we get here, we just say nothing. We're done. Perfect. Now, we just need to go and fix our spline. I'm just going to select the caption. And we're going to select these, and we're just going to tell them to step in. And now, as we take a look at this, I'm going to get rid of our splines. Nothing's being said. They're opening their eyes. I'm awesome. I'm super insecure. Wow, she's so confident. Wow, she's so full of herself. I wish I was as good as you. Same here. And we're done. And all of this was done with a switch. Now I'm just going to fix the text a little bit. So I'm going to be a bit lazy about it. I'm going to put a transform afterwards. And we're just going to find a place where we see some text like that. And I'm just going to resize it like that, instead of going into every one of these and fixing them. It's just easier this way. There we go. And this is the power of the switch node. Like I said, it becomes whatever goes into it and whatever we've selected. It's not a merge, it's a chameleon. And it can become all sorts of things. Text, it can become images, it can become 3D planes, it can become cameras, it can become lights. It can, apparently it has some issues with the particle emitter. I haven't tried it yet. Just something to be aware of, but it can become almost anything. It can become shapes, it can become probably 3D models. I think there's a specific one actually for 3D models. Yeah, USD. There's a USD switch for switching between models. What? That's madness. So I'm hoping that this has given you a glimpse into the power of 3D nodes. My example is a little bit simple, but you could have like tons of expressions for each character. You could have complex lighting systems or setups done. And this is just one example. This was just to show like the flexibility that switch nodes gives you. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!